Much love and part, you guys. Today we're speaking about spiritual emergency or the dark night of the soul and what really happens and how to go through it. What are the symptoms and really what is the purpose of this dark night of the soul. Now, before starting the entering today's topic, I want to mention the fact that I do one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you're interested in working with me on a spiritual level, if you're interested in knowing how this universe works and how it is connected to our own consciousness, feel free to send me a message and let's step right into the work or the play, okay? So if you're interested in expanding your lifestyle, if you're interested in really going deeper into your soul's nature, going deeper into how you could really create the life that you desire, feel free to actually contact me and let's step right into the play, okay? Now, the dark night of the soul, it is a spiritual period that the spiritual seeker actually seeks in order for him to actually expand his consciousness. And trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy because in the spiritual journey, we have moments when we really awaken, when we really realize that there is actually more to life, when we realize that there is really a beautiful consciousness that is explosive from the inside out, and that is actually called the spiritual awakening. Now, it happens that after we awaken, we go through a period of darkness. We go through a period of where we really must begin to really question everything about ourselves, where we really must begin to question our spiritual nature, where we must begin to question our human nature, and where we must begin to really go deep into our own consciousness in order to find the truth, in order to find our own truth, in order to really forgive ourselves in the process. Now, the dark night of the soul is also called a spiritual emergency, and really Stanislav Grof, the father of transpersonal psychology, named this dark night of the soul as spiritual emergency. And really what happens is the fact that we choose at a soul level to really release our energetic body of experiences that no longer serve us. And really when this happens, we go through a period of darkness. We go through a period of where we really feel lost and depressed, and we really feel like we are not really in tune with our true being anymore. We feel like we are not really in tune with our higher self anymore. We feel like we are being disconnected from life. But I'm gonna mention how you can actually go through this process, because what comes in the dark night of the soul is addiction, is loneliness, is a lack of potential, is a lack of energy. It is a lack of where you are feeling connected in essence, you know. So how do we really go through this hard period? How do we really embrace? It's not necessarily how we go through it, it's more like how do we embrace it and how we go in it, you know. So in the dark night of the soul, you may feel like you are being lost, you may feel like you are being disconnected from your source. But what I come to realize now is the fact that we can always find peace by looking within. And of course, it's not necessarily easy in this life to always find peace. It's not necessarily easy in this life to always be in tune with your true being. It's not necessarily easy in this life to be in tune with your true self. But when you begin to accept the pain, when you begin to accept yourself in the process, you realize that you have the power to really transmute experiences. You really have the power to go beyond experiences, and you have the power to integrate experiences. This is really powerful, because when you integrate experiences, you also find a new way of being. You also find a new way of expressing yourself. You also find a new way of really seeing the truth about yourself, really seeing the truth that is all around you, really seeing the answers that are not only within yourself but that are actually in the universe. Okay, so the dark night of the soul is not an easy period to go through. The spiritual emergency is not an easy period to go through, but the more that you begin to really question yourself in the process, and the more that you begin to really embrace yourself in the process, no matter what happens, you gotta love yourself still, is the more that you will begin to integrate this dark night of the soul. And really, when you integrate the dark night of the soul, a really high spiritual maturity comes in, a really high spiritual lesson comes in, a really high spiritual level of consciousness comes in, you know. So my suggestion is, if you find yourself like you are being lost, if you find yourself like you are being depressed, feel free to actually look within yourself for answers and just go with the flow, because it will pass. It will pass. Right now I'm standing in moments where I'm still feeling my dark night of the soul, but I'm also standing in moments where I'm really beginning to see life with new eyes. I'm really beginning to see life with different eyes. I'm really beginning to really open my consciousness again and really seeing the beauty that was in my past, because even a negative experience holds wisdom. Even a negative experience holds beauty. Even a negative experience holds strength and power. You know, it's not always about being positive. It's not always about standing in the light, even though light may be our truth. But it's also about learning how to dance with the darkness that happens inside of ourselves. It's also about learning how to alchemize the darkness that happens within ourselves, you know. So if you find yourself like you are in the spiritual awakening, you can actually contact me in order for us to really step into really learning how to alchemize these experiences, into really learning how to improve these experiences with the consciousness that we have at that moment, with the consciousness that we have in those rough times, you know. So yeah, the dark night of the soul is something that we need to go through in this lifetime, because maybe everybody goes through a dark night of the soul at some point in time, and if we are not prepared for it, it may hit us, because it hit me, and I've realized that it was so rough, it was so hard, it was something that really hit me right into my heart center. It hit me right into my chakra system, and I really felt disconnected for a long time. Now, the dark night of the soul is something that it may be something that is actually necessary for us to go through in order for us to really step into our higher version, into our higher nature, into our higher truth, into that truth that actually allows us to expand as love, expand as pure consciousness, to activate our DNA and really step into a higher awareness. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching today's video. I've mentioned the idea of the dark night of the soul, and really, if you feel like you are going through it, if you feel like the world is actually giving up on you, if you feel alone, if you feel like you are in a really low vibrational state, feel free to contact me, and let's see how we can actually turn this negative experience into our favor, because we don't have to lose trust. Okay, the moment that you lose trust, you lose trust in life. Okay, so we don't necessarily have to lose trust. All we gotta do is go with the flow and see what happens, and really allow these experiences to happen, because if we try to resist experiences, now we actually give them more power. Okay, so it's about looking within ourselves, and it's about accepting the storm that is coming, because all we gotta do is embrace ourselves in the process, and really self-love is super important in the dark night of the soul. Self-love, doing the work. Okay, doing the work is important still. Creating something, allowing yourself to go into nature, and really accepting your inner blocks, accepting your inner energies, and really learning how to transmute these energies, learning how to change these energies, learning how to really shift yourself in the process, because you deserve to have an abundant life. You deserve to have the best life that you want. You deserve to be anything that you desire. You deserve to actually win this game of life, okay? So this was today's video about the dark night of the soul. It is something that is actually symbolic, and it is something that has happened for a lot of spiritual masters along history. It is something that most of us actually go through in order for us to really expand our consciousness and really reach a higher vibrational state of consciousness and really reach a more in tune psychological way of expressing ourselves and really open our higher nature and open our chakra system and really allowing ourselves to stay connected to a more higher vibrational truth. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching. This is today's video about spiritual emergency or the dark night of the soul. If you are in it, feel free to contact me and we can actually begin to heal at a vibrational level. We can actually begin to heal at an energy level and see what happens in actually going through it and actually embracing the process. Okay, so thank you for watching and see ya on what is coming up next. By the way, I do one-on-one coaching sessions, so if you're interested in working with me, feel free to send me a message and let's step right into the play. Okay, so much peace and see ya on what is coming up next. I love you.